In this lecture, I am going to discuss different kinds of signal generators which are capable of generating different waveforms like sinusoidal signal, sawtooth signal, square signal, pulse signal, etc. So coming to the topic of our discussion, so signal generators. Signal generators are nothing but it is an electronic equipment so which provides us standard test signals like sine wave, square wave, triangular wave, etc. So it is also called an oscillator because it generates signals freely without giving any external inputs. So it can generate the signals. So if an oscillator generates a signal of fixed frequency at some specified range, in the range of audio frequencies, then it is called a fixed frequency AF oscillator. So otherwise, if the oscillator generates the signals which are in the range of audible range, so which the human ear can hear. So that is nothing but the audible range of frequencies. So that is from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So then it is called audio frequency variable signal generator. So here, why do we need signal generators? So we need signal generators for generating various waveforms like square wave, triangular wave, sawtooth wave, so etc. So why these signals are required for us? Because to test the different electronic equipments, to test the different electronic circuits, so it is necessary to provide inputs. So based on how the signals are being varied after passing through the electronic circuits, so we can analyze the performance of that electronic circuit. So that is why we require signal generators for testing the electronic circuits. So here we have different types of signal generators available. So those are nothing but fixed type frequency signal generators, whereas variable frequency signal generator. And here in variable frequency signal generators, we have audible range as well as radio frequency range. So if for some applications for testing audio circuits, so we require only a specified frequency signal like 400 Hz or 1000 Hz. So in the range of audio frequencies. So then it is known as fixed type frequency AF signal generator. Whereas if we require a particular range of frequencies, so in the range of audible range, then it is known as variable audio frequency signal generator, so which is capable of generating signals whose frequencies varies from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So here we have an AF audio frequency oscillator. So it consists of the following blocks in it. So it is capable of delivering the signals in the range of audio frequencies. So here, first of all, if you look at the diagram, so here we have Wien-Bridge oscillator, and then we have sine wave amplifier, attenuator, and then square wave shaper, and square wave amplifier, and along with it, its attenuator. So here, since we have discussed that a signal generator is nothing but oscillator, so if we can generate frequency signal at particular range frequency. Okay, so it is known as resonant frequency. So that is why here the main block present in the AF oscillator is nothing but Wien-Bridge oscillator. So Wien-Bridge oscillator is capable of delivering the signals so in the range of audio frequencies. So that is why it is suited for AF oscillator. So here at particular resonant frequency FR, which is nothing but whose value is nothing but FR equal to 1 by 2 pi RC. So here this capacitor plays very important role. So by altering the capacitor value, so we can alter the frequency of the output signal of Wien-Bridge oscillator. So at particular frequency only, so the Wien-Bridge oscillator is able to deliver this signal. So here Wien-Bridge oscillator connects, delivers its output to two of the circuits available here. That means here audio frequency oscillator Okay, variable audio frequency oscillator is capable of delivering two types of outputs. So those are nothing but sine wave output and square wave outputs. Here we must remember that. So it is capable of delivering the frequency signal only in the audible range. That means 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, not other than that. So whenever Wien-Bridge oscillator generates its output signal at resonant frequency, so then it may goes to either sine wave amplifier or square wave shaping circuit. So if it is connected, if the Wien-Bridge output is connected to sine wave amplifier, so this the output will be a sine wave. So here the amplifier, sine wave amplifier boosts the signal, strengthens the signal, whose voltage can be amplified with the help of sine wave amplifier, and its magnitude can be altered, so with the help of attenuator for required range, which is required for the different test signals, testing circuits. And then if the Wien-Bridge oscillator output is connected to square wave shaper, so here square wave shaping circuit can be diode and resistor network, so whose shape can be altered and it is converted from sinusoidal signal to square wave signal. So and then it is amplified and its voltage, its magnitude can be altered with the help of attenuator, and then square wave output can be obtained. So this is how the AF oscillator is capable of generating sinusoidal waveform as well as square wave waveform. So here if you look at the parameters, so the frequency of oscillations can be changed by varying the capacitance or resistance present in the Wien-Bridge oscillator. So just now we have discussed. So it consists of resistance and capacitance network. So Wien-Bridge oscillator consists of resistance and capacitance network. So by altering either resistor value or capacitance value, so we can alter the resonant frequency of the Wien-Bridge oscillator. So hence we can control the frequency of the output which is coming from the Wien-Bridge oscillator. So here this Wien-Bridge oscillator is capable of generating the signals. Those can range from 10 Hz to 1 megahertz. Okay, and here the sine wave amplitude can be varied from 5 millivolt to 5 volt, so whose RMS value should be taken into consideration. Whereas the square wave amplitude can be varied from 0 to 20 volt peak voltage. Okay, so and since it is well suited for audible frequencies, it requires very less power, so in the range of 7 watts of power at 220 volts, and it can operate at the 50 hertz of internal frequencies. Since it is an oscillator, it doesn't require any external output signal. So the DC signal which is present in the oscillator itself gets amplified and converted into alternating current, so that the output can be obtained from the oscillator. And then next we are going to discuss about function generator. So this function generator is capable of delivering different kinds of waveforms. So more than 3 outputs can be generated with the help of function generator, so which is commonly used in all laboratories. So function generator is a signal source, so which has the capability of producing different types of waveforms as its output signals. Okay, so the most common type of outputs these can give us are sine waves, triangular waves, square waves, sawtooth waves, ramp voltages, etc. So in this instrument, the frequency is controlled by varying the magnitude of the current that drives the integrator. So in the AFS oscillator, we have seen that. So by varying the capacitance value, we are able to control the frequency. But here in the function generator, by controlling the magnitude of the current which is going to drive the integrator, so we can vary the frequency of the output signals. And this instrument is capable of providing the output signal with the range of frequencies from 0.01 Hz to 100 kilohertz. So this is also in the range of audible frequencies itself. And now if you look at the block diagram of function generator, So these are different blocks present in the function generator. So it consists of one frequency control network, so with some external frequency control, and then we have two current sources available. One is upper current source, another one is lower current source. So these two current sources provide current to the integrator. So and then it's the integrator output is applied to voltage comparator along with the multivibrator, and then so we have one diode resistance network for shaping the output of integrator to generate different signals. So coming to the working of this function generator, so here this frequency control network controls the operation of these two constant current sources. So at particular time, so the constant current source, which is nothing but the upper constant current source, is going to provide current to the integrator. So that the capacitor present in the feedback path, so is going to be charged. So and its voltage is linearly increased with respect to time. So till it reaches the maximum level, so the constant current source, upper current source, is going to provide the current continuously. So once the maximum level has been reached, so then the comparator, so which is present at the output of integrator, just changes its state and cuts off the upper constant current source, and then it connects the lower constant current source to the input of integrator. So since the lower constant current source supplies the low current, so which is nothing but the reverse current. So now the slope of the signal present at the output of integrator is going to be decreased. That means, so it will the output voltage is going to be decreased linearly with respect to time. So and hence it reaches till the minimum level, which is set by the internal circuitry of the integrator. So then immediately this voltage comparator and multivibrator switches its state and turns off this lower constant current source, and then again connects it to the upper constant current source. So like that the process can be repeated for the whole period. Okay. So whenever this linear increment and decrement voltage present at the integrator output, so we will get the triangular waveform which is shown here. And similarly, this function generator is capable of producing the output that is nothing but the square wave output as well. So by using particular wave shaping network along with its amplifier. Similarly, we have resistance and diode wave shaping network, so which shapes the output of the integrator into sinusoidal waveform. So here we have an output amplifier for strengthening the sinusoidal output. So that means this function generator is capable of producing three types of outputs. Those are nothing but square wave output and triangular output and then sinusoidal output. So here this frequency controlled voltage, okay, regulates the two current supply sources. So here we have an equation, so by which the integrated output will be varied. So the whenever the upper constant current source supplies the current, so then the output voltage of the integrator will increase linearly. So according to the equation E out, which is nothing but the voltage of the integrator, so which is nothing but minus 1 by C integral 0 to T I dt. Similarly, whenever lower current source supplies the current, so its value is going to be reduced. That means based on the slope of the output waveform, the frequency can be altered. That means this slope can be altered by the application of currents to the integrator input. That is how we are going to control the frequency of the output signal. Okay, so here we have the resistance diode network alters the slope of the triangular wave. So and then the amplitude changes and produces a sine wave with less than 1% distortion. That means, so the function generator is capable of delivering the signals with very less distortion. That distortion can be of 1% and less than that. So now let us discuss about pulse generator. So here we need to know what is the difference between square wave and pulse first. So because both look like the same, but there is a major variation present between these two signals. So that difference lies in the duty cycle. So the duty cycle is nothing but the ratio of pulse width and the pulse period. Okay, so whenever the pulse width is divided by the pulse period, then it is nothing but the duty cycle. So for square wave, the duty cycle is 50%. That means the for square wave, the voltage output will have same equal on time period as well as off time period. So that is why the duty cycle of square wave is nothing but 50%. So whereas in case of pulse, the duty cycle is not constant, it can be varied. So we can vary the time periods of pulse for on time and off time in different ways. So now the circuit of or else the equipment which is capable of providing us the pulse signals is nothing but pulse generator. So here we have the block diagram of pulse generator, so which is capable of producing the pulse range that has the frequency range from 1 Hz to 10 megahertz. So this has one dial which is calibrated to alter the duty cycle of pulse present at the output. So here we have one frequency control network. So along with the symmetry control. So here we have two constant current sources, upper constant current source and lower current source. So along with we have one switching circuit to change the or to connect the different current sources to the integrator input. Similarly, we have ramp capacitor, okay, which is connected to one multiplier switch so that we can vary the capacitor value. Similarly, we have Schmitt trigger circuit with the synchronous circuit. So here we have two different types of outputs available for pulse generator. So one is output that ranges from 600 ohms output. So similarly, we have 50 ohms output. So along with its attenuator. So here the operation of a pulse generator is more look like function generator. So the major difference is nothing but here it is going to generate only pulse signals. So whose duty cycle can be varied as per our requirement. So here we have one external frequency control network, so which drives the two constant current sources. These two constant current sources are going to provide the input to the integrator. So here, so whenever uh, the input is connected to upper constant current source, it is going to provide the current to the integrator. So here ramp capacitor will get charged and its voltage varies linearly with time. That means the value of the voltage of the ramp capacitor increases with time. So whenever it reaches the maximum level, so then Schmitt trigger immediately changes its state and disconnects the upper constant current. Then the switching network connects the lower current source to the integrator input. Reverse current is flowing to the integrator input. So the ramp capacitor value will get decreased. This value, the value of output of the ramp capacitor is going to be decreased with respect to. So here, this pulse generator can work like free running oscillator as well as it can synchronize with the help of external synchronization circuits. That is why synchronous circuit is connected to the split trigger. So it can be synchronized with the external inputs as well. One output amplifier, so which strengthens the signal and gives us the one range of output in the range of 600 ohms resistance. And we have a 50 ohms output amplifier, so along with its attenuator to change the uh, magnitude of the voltage that is coming from the integrator present in the pulse generator. So here we have the output, okay, 600 ohms output can provide us a heavier voltage pulse signal. So whereas 50 ohms output signal can provide us lower voltage signals, pulse signals as the output. So here you can see the difference between those two. Okay, so the basic generating loop is nothing but here two constant current sources along with this split trigger and integrator. Have different on and off time periods. So present at the output, and this is the output of the ramp capacitance, which linearly increases with time up to certain maximum range, and then it decreases linearly with respect to time. Here we have symmetry control, so which controls the current which is flowing through the capacitor, so that we can control the frequency of the signal. So here the ratio of these two currents I1 and I2 so controls the frequency of the signal, and the sum of these two current signals is the duty cycle of the range from 25 to 75%. And here we have those independent outputs, okay, so which are about 50 ohm source, so which supplies us with the rise and fall time of 5 nanosecond at 5 volt peak amplitude. So rise time is nothing but the maximum voltage range the pulse can have, okay, in the time. So that time is nothing but 5 nanoseconds. And for 600 ohms output source, so rise and fall time are up to 70 nanoseconds. That means within 70 nanoseconds of time, the signal will reach the maximum peak voltage. That is nothing but the 30 volt peak amplitude. So this is about the pulse generator. And then we are going to discuss about random noise generator. So why it is necessary to discuss about random noise generator? So why do we need to generate the noises? Because it is necessary to study the certain electronic circuits. So while applying the noise as the input. So whenever we apply the noise as the input, so then how the circuit is behaving. Okay. So mostly these noises are used to study the noise figure and frequency response of the electronic circuits. So whenever noise enters the circuit, so how it is going to affect the performance of the electronic circuit. So we will discuss with the help of noise signal. So that is why it is necessary to generate the noises. So here we have a block diagram, so which represent the random noise generator. So this consists of noise source, so in the range of 60 to 220 kilohertz, and then one amplifier and modulator, and which whose output can be distributed in three range of noises. Those are nothing but white noise, pink noise, and sassy noise. So and then we have an amplifier, so which delivers a particular noise signal. So in different ranges. In order to generate the noise, so we need semiconductor noise diode, which is the source of noise generation. So it is able to deliver the signals in the range of 80 to 220 kilohertz. So and then that noise signal can be amplified. So since we are going to test the audio frequency tests electronic circuits, so such as amplifiers, okay, and loudspeakers. So because those are present in the range of audio frequencies, it is necessary to convert this high frequency signal, noise signal, into range of audio frequencies. So that work is done by the help of modulator. So this modulator, so with the help of carrier signal obtained from the oscillator, so is going to modulate the noise signal. So with the help of filters present in the modulator, so the noise frequency range can be lowered in the range of audio frequencies. Here, so the filter which we are going to use in the modulator should be tuned lower cutoff frequencies, that is in the range of 0 to 100 kilohertz. It should reject the signals which are having high frequencies more than 100 kilohertz. And after that, we have three different outputs available from the random noise generator. So those are nothing but white noise, pink noise, and Usasi noise. So these noises are helpful for us to test the equipment such as music, okay, so and amplifiers and loudspeakers. To test their performance, it is necessary to apply these noises to them, and then we the signals which are present in them. Okay, so here we have frequency response of different noises, so which are outputs from the random noise generator. Those are nothing but white noise, so which has the equal power, equal density available over the ranges of 10 Hz to 25 kilohertz. Its value is uniform over this range, and it has upper cutoff frequency at 50 kilohertz. Okay, and then coming to the pink noise has the range, has maximum voltage at the lower frequencies, and it continuously decreases whenever the frequency increases. So similarly, Usasi noise, it has the frequency distribution. So at lower frequencies, its value rises till the maximum level, and at 1 kilohertz, it is going to, it obtains the maximum value, and then it is going to be decreased. Which are helpful in testing the equipment like amplifiers and loudspeakers. And we are going to discuss about sweep generator, so which is capable of providing us a sinusoidal output waveform. Okay, so this is the block diagram of sweep generator. So this is helpful to drive the CRO horizontal amplifier, which is connected to the horizontal deflection plates. That is why it is necessary to discuss about the sweep generator. The sweep generator consists of one master radio frequency oscillator along with amplifier, and mark generator, frequency sweeper, and level control circuit. So, and it has one output, so which can give us sinusoidal signal. So here modulation can be used for generating different types of sinusoidal signal of varying frequency. Here modulation can be established with the help of manual or else electronical method. Okay, so modulation by using mechanical method or electronic method. So coming to the mechanical method, so here we have manual frequency control, so which drives the oscillator, along with the help of motor drives the capacitor. That means by changing the capacitor value with the help of motor, we are going to vary the present, or else the frequency modulation can be established with the help of frequency sweeper as well. So this frequency sweeper generates modulating voltage to alter the frequency of the master oscillator. So with the help of that electronic circuit, if we establish the frequency modulation, it is nothing but electronic method. So the output which is coming from the master oscillator is used to drive the horizontal speed, okay, speed generation. That means we are going to drive the horizontal amplifier, which is connected to the horizontal deflection plates present in the CRO, such that the synchronization must be done with the vertical section uh, where the electronic beam can be controlled and can be displayed on the screen. So here the use of marker generator is to observe the frequency interval. So it is going to generate half sinusoidal waves, so which can be superimposed on the output signal such that the frequency can be monitored with the help of a marker generator. And here we have one level control circuit, so which controls the any changes that are occurred in frequency as well as in impedance matchings. Okay, so this is going to control any unnecessary changes that is going to alter the output signal. So this is how we are going to obtain the sinusoidal output waveform from sweep generator. Thank you so much. If you have any queries, you can comment in the comment section.